Next on Worcester News tonight, another winter storm heading our way. A look at how communities are preparing for the third nor'easter in less than 2 weeks. Plus, how area businesses are reacting to the expected foot or more of snow on its way. It's deja vu in central Massachusetts as yet another winter storm is heading our way. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Anna Botari. A major nor'easter is expected to hit late tonight into tomorrow. It's the third since the beginning of March. Our Cam Jandro spoke with local businesses on how they feel about the expected snowfall. Cam?
Yeah, Anna, it's pretty cold outside, but we're still a few hours away from snowfall here in central Massachusetts. Hard to believe we're almost halfway through March and we're still talking about nor'easters. And while some business owners are excited for it, others not so much. At Strand Ski Shop, word of another nor'easter is welcome news.
This weekend we're going to go one more time to Vermont or New Hampshire. So it's exciting, you know. It keeps it going for just a couple more weekends.
Central Massachusetts is preparing for a third nor'easter in less than 2 weeks. Strand store manager Mark Welch says this time of year usually brings their drop-off, but a storm Tuesday will help them out.
They do drive traffic. Those people that were, well, we're going to put the skis away, and then, well, you know what? We have snow now, so we're going to go that one more trip.
In West Boylston, J&K roofing owner Jim Deotis attached a plow to his truck for Tuesday's storm. A snowstorm this late in the year causes some problems for his business.
I was actually already getting the ball rolling with roofing, and I kind of want to get back to doing that. I'm kind of sick of pushing snow around.
Deotis expects to be in his truck for almost 10 hours Tuesday, but in the long run, he says all of the March snow will pay off.
It makes roofs leak, so that's a good thing, and it gives me money for pushing it around when I can't be roofing. So it is what it is.
The likelihood of another foot or more of snow is on the horizon, and Welch says he's ready to take advantage of it.
I prefer to ski this time of year because it's warmer, daylight is longer, the snow is softer, and you can get better deals. So I really like it.
Now, it just started to snow just a little bit since the package played. Now, it is supposed to start snowing more heavily in the later hours of tonight, causing a sticky and dangerous morning commute. If you do have to go out and leave your home tomorrow, the city does urge you to drive slow and take your time. Anna?
Thanks for braving the storm out there, Cam. Northborough is gearing up for this latest nor'easter. The town was hit hard by last week's storm, losing more than 98% of power. Town Administrator John Coder says all power is back on in the town. He says while all the public safety concerns like clearing roads and downed wires have been addressed, the cleanup continues. With another storm on its way, he warns residents to be aware of potential storm damage, creating hazards.
Any storm, if people see wires down, assume that they're live and call it into the police department, and we'll get somebody out immediately to check on that. That's the biggest safety hazard that we face, besides falling trees and things of that nature.
Coder says while the people of Northborough are hardy New Englanders, he is reminding everyone to make sure you have batteries and supplies to last at least 24 to 48 hours, just in case you lose power. According to the National Weather Service, central Massachusetts towns like Shrewsbury could see more than a foot of snow. Our Chandler Walsh has more on how the towns are preparing.
The Shrewsbury Highway Department prepares their fleet ahead of another nor'easter. Superintendent John Knipe says the storm's duration will be the biggest challenge. The department worked a 36-hour shift with the last storm and are expecting to be out just as long this time.
It becomes very tedious because we don't have backup drivers, we don't have relief drivers. What we have is a very short staff in this community.
It's also been a busy week at Jed's Hardware in Holden. People were stocking up on items last week, but co-owner Anthony Capers expects repeat customers.
A lot of the products that they would have used in last storm, such as the rock salt and the calcium chloride out front, they're going to need to replenish the supply that they just have.
Susan Collins is preparing for the storm by taking her dog Daisy for a last-minute snow-free walk at Dean Park in Shrewsbury. She says she's ready.
It kind of forces you to relax a little bit, you know. You have to kind of hunker down in your house and enjoy some peace and quiet.
Peace and quiet the town's highway department won't have. Knipe expects to have 50 pieces of equipment on the roads by Tuesday morning's commute. He says it will be a mix of the town's equipment and contractors.
The staff will be called in as minute it starts snowing overnight. And then from there we'll start salting and sanding, and at about an inch and a half we'll call the contractors in.
And at the Shrewsbury Parks Department, they were hoping to be getting ready for another season.
The guys are gearing up to plow snow in the park and just want it to be spring.
Chandler Walsh, Worcester News Tonight.
The WRTA hosts a public meeting in Southbridge Monday discussing proposed cuts to service. The Transit Authority is facing a $900,000 deficit. Proposed cuts include the elimination of weekend service in some areas and reducing the number of round trips on weekdays on certain routes. Monday, the WRTA took input from its riders. Administrator Jonathan Church says limiting services is not something he wants to see.
We're just doing this as a precautionary measure. We're hoping to work with the legislature to increase funding for all RTAs in the state. However, unless that funding does increase, we're taking the measures now to let everyone know that we're thinking about what cuts we have to make.
We really need this bus line. And Southbridge has been a friend of Massachusetts all its 200 years. So please, everybody, let's try to keep this bus going to Southbridge.
If approved, the proposed cuts would go into effect at the end of June or August of 2018. A wake is held this afternoon for a mother and her 3 children. The West Brookfield family was killed inside their home earlier this month. Sarah Bermudez and her children, 8-year-old Madison, 6-year-old James, and 2-year-old Michael, will be laid to rest Tuesday. The funeral is at 10 a.m. at the All Saints Roman Catholic Church in Ware. The Worcester County District Attorney's Office called their deaths homicides earlier this month, but so far no arrests have been made. A dramatic rescue in Worcester. Neighbors try to pull one woman from her burning apartment after they say she fell and broke her leg. Our Rosalind Flaherty has the details.
It was quite scary to see somebody scream for their life.
Neighbors spring into action Monday morning when fire breaks out at this apartment building on Kendrick Ave in Worcester.
I tried to get the fire out and I couldn't.
Ray Gibbs lives upstairs and heard the fire alarm. He saw a woman on the floor in the basement and tried going in. Gibbs says the smoke was so bad he couldn't breathe, but he was able to pull oxygen tanks from her apartment.
I thought maybe I could get the rest of them that were out against the wall out of there and at least prevent those from exploding.
Others in the neighborhood also tried to rescue the woman, including Amanda Hutchins, who was 6 months pregnant.
Her left side of her face was burnt and her right leg was already broken. I tried to pull her out. I couldn't do it.
Firefighters eventually pulled the 50-year-old out. Deputy Fire Chief John Sullivan says she sustained critical burns and was rushed to the hospital.
Oxygen tanks that were in the apartment, whether they were causing a causal factor of enhancing the fire or not, our fire investigation unit will make that determination.
Neighbors say they didn't think twice about helping the woman and would do it again.
I'd want to do something for someone else that I would want done for me, so I don't think I'm no hero or nothing. I just did it because that's what neighbors do.
Rosalind Flaherty, Worcester News Tonight.
A man and his young niece are expected to be okay after they were hit by a car in Worcester. Police say the 24-year-old man and his 7-year-old niece were trying to cross the road when they were hit. It happened around 8 this morning on Grafton Street. The accident reconstruction team remained on scene for several hours. Both were taken to the hospital for non-life-threatening injuries. The driver involved did stay at the scene and right now isn't facing any charges. In an effort to uncover criminally fraudulent foreclosures in the city, the Worcester Anti-Foreclosure team holds a press conference this afternoon. Dozens gathered outside of the Worcester County Courthouse, sharing stories of losing their homes under what they call criminally untrue registry filings. Team members planned on delivering video and records to the district attorney. Their hope is to show records at the Worcester Registry of Deeds are false.
We want the DA and the Registry of Deeds to know that the documentation that they have in hand is obtained illegally because it's not true. And so we have the documentation to back that up.
Organizers say they expect more cases of fraud to be submitted in the future. The longtime superintendent of Quabbin Regional School System is weighing in on the national gun proposal debate. Dr. Maureen Marshall says she's strongly opposed to arming teachers and staff. She says her main reasoning is it would require teachers to do a job they're not trained for.
That's not what we're trained to do. And police and military go through hours and hours and hours and weeks and weeks and weeks, months and months and months of special training to be able to make those quick, impulsive decisions. And we're not. One teacher pointed out, she says, I can't even imagine if I ever had to shoot one of my students, because the teachers knew this young man from down in, knew him.
Last week, the district hosted an ALICE training, giving teachers a first-hand look at a lifelike active shooter scenario.